You're about to overtake. What should you do when you see this sign? Overtake the other driver as quickly as possible. Move to the right to get a better view. Switch your headlights on before overtaking. Hold back until you can see clearly ahead. Where would you find these road markings? At a railway crossing. At a mini roundabout. On a motorway. On a pedestrian crossing. Which sign means that there may be people walking along the road? Why should these road markings be kept clear? To allow children to be dropped off at school. To allow teachers to park. To allow children to be picked up after school. To allow children to see and be seen when they're crossing the road. What does this sign mean? Tourist attraction. Beware of trains. Level crossing. Beware of trams. You're driving on a motorway at night. Which lights should you have on if there are other vehicles just ahead of you? Front fog lights. Main beam headlights. Side lights only. Dipped headlights. What should you do when you're driving in snowy conditions? Brake firmly and quickly. Be ready to steer sharply. Use side lights only. Brake gently in plenty of time. What should the driver of the car approaching the crossing do? Continue at the same speed. Sound the horn. Drive through quickly. Slow down and get ready to stop. Your vehicle breaks down on a motorway and you need to call for help. Why might it be better to use an emergency roadside telephone rather than a mobile phone? It connects you to a local garage. Using a mobile phone will distract other drivers. It allows easy location by the emergency services. Mobile phones don't work on motorways. What should the driver of the red car, arrowed, do? Wave towards the pedestrians who are waiting to cross. Wait for the pedestrian in the road to cross. Quickly drive behind the pedestrian in the road. Tell the pedestrian in the road she shouldn't have crossed. You're waiting to emerge from a junction. The windscreen pillar is restricting your view. What should you be particularly aware of? Lorries. Buses. Motorcyclists. Coaches. What should you do before starting a journey in foggy weather? Wear a high-visibility jacket. Have a caffeinated drink. Allow more time. Reduce your tire pressures. How should you signal if you're going straight ahead at a roundabout? Signal right on the approach and then left to leave the roundabout. Signal left after you leave the roundabout and enter the new road. Signal right on the approach to the roundabout and keep the signal on. Signal left just after you pass the exit before the one you're going to take. You're the first person to arrive at an incident where people are badly injured. You've switched on your hazard warning lights and checked all engines are stopped. What else should you do? Make sure that an ambulance has been called. Stop other cars and ask the drivers for help. Try and get people who are injured to drink something. Move the people who are injured clear of their vehicles. What should you do about driving if you've been taking medicine that causes drowsiness? Only drive if your journey is necessary. Drive on quiet roads. Ask someone to come with you. Avoid driving and check with your doctor. What's the main benefit of driving a four-wheel drive vehicle? Improved grip on the road. Lower fuel consumption. Shorter stopping distances. Improved passenger comfort. You're driving a car that has a diesel engine. What can a loose filler cap on your fuel tank cause? It can make the engine difficult to start. It can make the roads slippery for other road users. It can improve your vehicle's fuel consumption. It can increase the level of exhaust emissions. You're about to overtake a cyclist. Why should you leave them as much room as you would give to a car? The cyclist might speed up. The cyclist might get off their bicycle. The cyclist might be unsettled if you pass too near them. The cyclist might have to make a left turn. The conditions are good and dry. When should you use the 2-second rule? Before restarting the engine after it is stalled. When checking your gap from the vehicle in front. Before using the mirrors, signal, maneuver routine. When traffic lights change to green. At an incident, how could you help a small child who isn't breathing? Find their parents and explain what's happening. Open their airway and begin CPR. Put them in the recovery position and slap their back. Talk to them confidently until an ambulance arrives. What should you do before starting a journey in foggy weather? Wear a high-visibility jacket. Have a caffeinated drink. Allow more time. Reduce your tire pressures. When may you stop and wait in a box junction? When oncoming traffic prevents you from turning right. When you're in a queue of traffic turning left. When you're in a queue of traffic going ahead. When you're on a roundabout. You're driving in a built-up area that has traffic calming measures. What should you do when you approach a road hump? Move across to the left-hand side of the road. Wait for any pedestrians to cross. Check your mirror and slow down. Stop and check both pavements. You've just passed your driving test. How can you reduce your risk of being involved in a collision? By always staying close to the vehicle in front. By never going over 40 miles per hour. By staying in the left-hand lane on all roads. By taking further training. What should you do if you can't see clearly behind when you're reversing? Open the window to look behind. Open the door to look behind. Look in the near side mirror. Ask someone to guide you. What type of vehicle uses an amber flashing beacon on a dual carriageway? An ambulance. A fire engine. A doctor on call. A tractor. Your vehicle breaks down on a motorway and you manage to stop on the hard shoulder. What should you do if you use your mobile phone to call for help? Stand at the rear of the vehicle while making the call. Phone a friend and ask them to come and collect you. Wait in the car for the emergency services to arrive. Check your location from the nearest marker posts beside the hard shoulder. Why should you keep well to the left as you approach a right-hand bend? To improve your view of the road. To overcome the effect of the road's slope. To let faster traffic from behind overtake. To be positioned safely if you skid. You're turning right onto a dual carriageway. What should you do before emerging? Stop, apply the parking brake and then select a low gear. Position your vehicle well to the left of the side road. Check that the central reservation is wide enough for your vehicle. Make sure that you leave enough room for a vehicle behind. You're towing a trailer along a 3-lane motorway. When may you use the right-hand lane? When there are lane closures. When there's slow-moving traffic. When you can maintain a high speed. When large vehicles are in the left and center lanes. How will a roof rack affect your car? There will be less wind noise. The engine will use more oil. The car will accelerate faster. Fuel consumption will increase. What does this sign mean? End of motorway. End of restriction. Lane ends ahead. Free recovery ends. You're about to go down a steep hill. What should you do to control the speed of your vehicle? Select a high gear and use the brakes carefully. Select a high gear and use the brakes firmly. Select a low gear and use the brakes carefully. Select a low gear and avoid using the brakes. When are you allowed to use hazard warning lights? When stopped and temporarily obstructing traffic. When traveling during darkness without headlights. When parked on double yellow lines to visit a shop. When traveling slowly because you're lost. What's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan on a dual carriageway? 50 miles per hour. 40 miles per hour. 70 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour. You're waiting to turn right at the end of a road. What should you do if your view is obstructed by parked vehicles? Stop and then move forward slowly and carefully for a clear view. Move quickly to where you can see so you only block traffic from one direction. Wait for a pedestrian to let you know when it's safe for you to emerge. Turn your vehicle around immediately and find another junction to use. What does it mean if this light comes on while you're driving? A fault in the braking system. The engine oil is low. A rear light has failed. Your seat belt isn't fastened. You're driving on a road with several lanes. What do these signs above the lanes mean? The 2 right lanes are open. The 2 left lanes are open. Traffic in the left lanes should stop. Traffic in the right lanes should stop. Which lights should you use when you're driving in a tunnel? Side lights, front spotlights, dipped headlights, rear fog lights. What should you do when you're using a contraflow system? Choose an appropriate lane in good time. Switch lanes to make better progress. Increase speed to get through the contraflow more quickly. Follow other motorists closely to avoid long queues. Are these yellow lines painted across the road? To help you choose the correct lane. To help you keep the correct separation distance. To make you aware of your speed. To tell you the distance to the roundabout.